This video will focus on uploading already processed data to Everlaw. Processed uploads contain either a load file or documents that have been Bates stamped. Please note that at this time, access to this feature is only available to organization administrators. In addition to watching this video, please also reference our documentation on processed data uploads and make sure to sign up for a training focused on processed uploads specifically by contacting your account representative. Before uploading your processed data, please make sure that your documents conform to the required format for processed uploads. Let's start with load file requirements. First, each document in your dataset must be represented by one line in the load file. The name of any text or image file in your set needs to be identical to the name of its entry in the load file, including any zeros or separator characters in the name. For each native file, a native path must be provided in the load file. Native file names do not need to be identical to their corresponding text or image file names, but native paths must include the exact file name of the native document. There must be a consistent separator character between columns in your load file. Accepted load file formats include DAT, TXT, and CSV, but other formats are acceptable as long as they use consistent and accepted delimiter characters. Next, we'll briefly talk about accepted data types. Everlaw's processed uploader supports TIFF, PNG, and JPEG files, as well as multi-page PDFs. It does not support page-separated PDF files. For text files, the processed uploader supports TXT files, but it does not support RTF files. Once you have ensured that your load file is properly structured and you are uploading supported data types, you're ready to initialize your upload. To begin your processed data upload, go to the Organization Administration page. Navigate to the Uploads tab and click Add a new upload. Next, select which case you would like your data to be uploaded to. This is the only opportunity to ensure you are uploading your documents to the correct case, so it's important to be careful when selecting which case to upload to. Once you have selected a case, drag and drop the unzipped folder containing your load file and image, text, and native files into the uploader. Then, select the name of the admin on the case who is authorizing the upload. This step creates an audit trail to identify who has authorized uploads to your case. You will notice that the uploader automatically adds the date to the name of your upload, but you may name your upload any way you'd like. Click Upload New Docs to begin your upload. To modify your documents, watch our video on modifying documents that are already on the platform. You will then be asked to select the load file in your folder. Load files are oftentimes contained in a folder called Data. If there are multiple load files present, the DAT file is often the file that conforms most closely to the uploader's requirements. If there is no DAT file, you can also select a CSV or text file. Opt files will not be accepted by the uploader as load files because they do not have one line per document. Once you have selected the load file, click Upload Load File. The next step asks you to designate system metadata fields. These metadata columns tell Everlaw where documents begin and end, as well as where native documents are located in your uploaded folder. The first field you'll need to designate is the Begin Bates field. This field is always required, and you can designate which field Everlaw should be looking to by selecting B next to the correct field. The field may be called Begin Bates, but it may also fall under a number of other variants. Note that fields presenting attachment information such as Parent Bates are not the correct field for Begin Bates, though the uploader may pre-select them. Next, select the letter E next to the field that should be used for End Bates. This will tell Everlaw where the end of each document is. The correct field may be under the name End Bates or End Doc, though it may also fall under other variants. If your load file does not have an End Bates field, you will need to select the page count field using the # icon. This will ensure that Everlaw knows the length of each document. If your upload contains natives, you'll need to tell it how to find your document's native files. Do this by selecting N next to the correct metadata field. This field will oftentimes be called native link or doc link. The values in this field will resemble a file path with the word native in it. Finally, if included, you will need to ignore the text path field. This is because Everlaw does not use text paths to upload text. To ignore the text path field, which may be under the name text link or OCR path, select the X button. Let's imagine that a few documents that you're trying to upload already exist on the platform. You will see an error message that tells you which documents are overlaps. Navigate to the red exclamation mark in the right-hand corner to download a CSV of the errors, and follow the directions in our written documentation to solve the issue. See our documentation for other issues you may encounter when running uploads. The next part of the process involves specifying the format of each metadata field. Your options are text, numerical, and date formats. This will determine how you can search against each field. For example, if a field is parsed as numerical, you can run searches on number ranges for that field. An important thing to note is that numerical fields can only contain numbers in their values. For example, if the values in your file size field contain units such as gigabytes or megabytes, Everlaw will not allow that field to be parsed as a numerical value because it contains text. For more information on specifying metadata formats, please see our written documentation. Your metadata fields may be different colors in this step. These colors reflect Everlaw's confidence in the designated field type. Green signifies that Everlaw is confident that the field is parsed correctly. You generally do not need to click through these to check anything. Fields appear in yellow when there is more than one non-text format option for that field. For example, the attachment count field contains numerical values, but it is sometimes automatically formatted as text. You will need to switch such fields to their proper format. If a field is red, it means that there's been an error and at least one value cannot be parsed. For more information on specifying metadata formats, please see our written documentation. Once you've identified how Everlaw should parse your metadata fields, click Next. In this step, you can combine date and time fields so that they show up as one field instead of two. For example, date created and time created can be combined into one field. Automatically combined fields are in green. You can split any combined fields by selecting the field and clicking Split. Yellow fields indicate that Everlaw is not confident about how the field is formatted. You can choose whether you'd like the yellow fields to be combined or split. If a field is gray, it means that it cannot be combined with anything. If you believe this to be an error, return to the previous metadata parsing step, create a new format for that field, and merge it with the other present formats. Once you click Next, you will be asked to match the fields in your load file with the metadata fields present on the Everlaw platform. This step will determine the names of your document's metadata fields. On Everlaw, there are two types of metadata fields: canonical and semantic fields. Canonical fields are the most common metadata fields found across cases. Everlaw uses them to reduce redundant metadata fields by standardizing the names for different metadata fields across uploads. For common metadata field names and their corresponding canonical fields on Everlaw, please see our written documentation. When selecting a field to map your load file metadata fields to, first look for the appropriate field with a blue bar on the side. The blue bar signifies that the field is canonical. If you cannot find a fitting canonical field for one of your load file metadata fields, you can choose a semantic field. Semantic fields are not canonical, but they already exist on your case. Semantic fields will have a gray bar next to them. To enable easy searching, it's important to use the same semantic fields for each upload on your case. For example, if one of the semantic fields on your case is called redacted, don't create a new metadata field called has redactions. This will make it more difficult to search for all redacted documents. You can tell if a particular field is new to your case by the yellow bar next to its name. Ensure that there are no other canonical or semantic field options before creating a new metadata field. Once you've mapped your metadata fields, click Next. In this step, you will be asked to resolve any inconsistencies found in your mapped metadata fields. In this case, we've accidentally mapped two load file fields to the custodian metadata field on Everlaw. all we need to do is go back to the previous step and map their fields to the correct names. However, let's imagine that you have two custodian fields, all custodians and more custodians, and you want both mapped to the same field called all custodians. First, choose which field's values you want shown on the document. To have the all custodians values show up on the document, drag it so that it's on the left and its values are green. Then, choose what to do with the conflicting values in the more custodians field. If you choose to save those values, they will show up when you hover over the all custodians field in Everlaw. If you choose to delete them, these values will not be present in the database at all. Once you've resolved all issues with your metadata mapping, you'll be able to move to review. You don't need to do anything on this page, but if there are any changes you'd like to make, you can go back to the previous steps and make them. Once you've reviewed your metadata configuration, click Submit. Note that once you click Submit, you won't be able to go back and change your metadata configuration. Next, you'll be asked to select which folders should be used to upload each type of document. First, select the folder containing your image files. You may have more than one, in which case you should select them all. Once you've selected your images folders, click the button that says Next Text and select the folder with your document's text files. Finally, if your documents have native links, click Next Native and select your folder of native files. Once you've finished selecting the proper folders, click Verify Files. If any files are missing, Everlaw will ask you whether you want to proceed with the upload anyway or abort it. If you choose to proceed anyway, you will have the option of downloading the list of missing files once the upload has completed. You'll be able to correct any issues at that time. Once the upload has finished, you can review your uploaded documents by clicking the magnifying glass in the top right corner. You can also delete all of the documents in your upload by clicking the trash can icon. Note that this will delete documents from your case, and you will need to re-upload them if you want any or all of them in your case again. Please consult our linked documentation for troubleshooting help, and feel free to reach out to us by message, email, or phone.